There's lots of theories on how to adjust straight joiner knives, but only one that makes a lot of sense and works perfectly every time. If the joiner knives at the top of their arc are not level with the surface of the outfeed table, the joiner simply can't do its work efficiently. If the knives are too high, the board can actually fall off of the infeed table and leave a snipe at the end of the board. Another problem with the knives being higher than the outfeed table is that they can remove enough wood that the wood actually has to tip over onto the outfeed table as you cut the board. That almost guarantees that you're not going to get a straight cut. Some advocate using a piece of wood that has to have an absolutely flat bottom edge. The idea is that when the cutter head turns, if the knife grabs the wood and moves the stick forward less than 1/8 of an inch, that indicates that the cutting edges are at the correct height. After setting the knives using that piece of wood, we zero out the dial indicator on the table, set it on the knife, and we can see that it's just about 7 thousandths too high. I tried this a number of times and it always came out between 4 and 7 thousandths too high. I've had better luck setting the knives so they just touch the bottom of a metal straight edge. You can feel it easier in the metal and the edge is generally pretty straight. While this does seem to be a lot more accurate than using a piece of wood, it's still not uncommon to find errors over 2 thousandths using this method. The multi-gauge from One-Way is still the easiest and most accurate way to set joiner knives. I set it down with the plunger on the outfeed table and zero out the dial face. Then we lift the plunger and move it forward until the plunger is on the edge of the knife. Then we rotate the head back and forth to make sure that we have the absolute high spot in the knife's rotation. Then I can use that knife's cam or jack screw and raise it up until the setting is perfect. You can actually see what you're doing and dial this in perfectly every time. After repeating the process on both ends of the knife, we can slide the dial indicator across the table to see if the knife is absolutely parallel to the table surface. If you want to adjust your joiner knives very accurately and very quickly, consider using a dial indicator like the One-Way multi-gauge that I use. This is very simple, very fast, and keeps your joiner performing perfectly.